Sawadee Cap, comes to body my 2 minutes out here from Thailand. Hope you're doing well. It is Wan Put in Thailand, which is Wednesday, and around about again mid-morning here in Thailand. Bit of a cloudy one, starting off okay. It's got a cloud, still around about 30 degrees, but it's a bit cloudy out there, for instance, and yeah, so whether it's going to rain, still expecting a bit of a monsoon hanging around. Again, we're still in this last bit of rainy season, but more to expect. But again, for instance, I'm going out to the market later on, etc. For instance, I'm not even bothering. I'll be going out exactly where I'm dressed right now, really. Shorts, t-shirts, and if it does rain, just hop under a shelter until it stops, and then you just carry on your way. Again, so this is what I love about the weather over here. For instance, again, even if it rains. You just kind of like, okay, it rains. But you just continue your day, and it's still 30 degrees, so you still have that kind of freedom, etc. You still, you don't have to walk around with umbrellas. You can, a lot of people do what's called for shade more than anything else. Thai people don't want to be brown. You got all the phalangs all want to be white. Brown, from white to brown, etc. All the brown, the phalangs, etc. want to be brown, want to be white. Basically, it's pretty strange. Me, I'm in the middle at the moment, etc. For instance, I know how much the sun ages your face, and you've got to be careful. Again, I've lost a lot of weight, but I have aged a bit, etc. I've got older, but for instance, the sun is no friend. But I love the sun, and I don't use as much sun cream as I'm supposed to be as I do, for instance, but it's always nice to have a bit of colour. But anyway, guys, so hope you're doing well. It's game day here in Thailand, and in the UK. Swansea versus Manchester City in the FA Cup. And we kind of got the easier the draw, basically, because all the rest of the teams are playing against each other. Premier League sides are playing against each other, so I'm quite happy. I think, apart from last night, I think didn't Brentford beat somebody 5-0 yesterday, and but tonight's fixtures is all about. It's all So for instance, tonight's fixture is all the Premier, it's all Premier League sides really. Right, okay. So we've got Swansea, and we've heard from Pep twice, and we're still getting over. I think we can digest it, and we're moving on a bit after what's to go. As long as we can get a win over the next couple of games, we're expected to go through tonight. Okay, and we've got a really good record against Swansea. Shouldn't cause an issue. You never know. These teams do. Again, they've got nothing to lose. They're going to be their full-strength squad. But City should win, and nobody's surprised if we do win. But we've got to get really cute big time if we don't. So now we've got to think. Because the most important game, etc., is the Sunday, against Bournemouth, etc., and we've got to bounce back after our Aston Villa defeat. I've been listening to I was listening to Josko Guardiola, for instance. He had an interview with ESPN, and those southern-based media English writers, etc., the kind of who written off Man City in the beginning of the season are kind of giving Man City a bit of a It would have been Villa. I think, for instance, they'll definitely be singing a different tune, but I think they are kind of not writing Manchester City off. What's it called? In the way that way. For instance, in the way they were in the beginning of the season, and with Liverpool falling off the cliff. But they're kind of like saying, well, Man City are probably the rivals to more of a rival to Arsenal than anybody else at the moment. But of course, then they said, what about the 1-1-5, which is expected after the international break? So we'll see. So of course, then they have to bring that one in. But we've got Swansea and Divine Musaka going to Pep because he's at his press conference. Some crazy questions. One about what about the quality of the Premier League? Blah blah, not scoring goals. Bit pointless, really, asking those questions. I think it's not Man City. It's not Manchester City related as far as I'm concerned, etc. It's just one of those pointless questions where it's a debate for another day, really. About the Premier League and whether it's a good league or a bad league or whatever. as far as I'm concerned, and the thing is, if you ask Pep those questions, he'll talk. But the thing is, you could be asking more prominent questions that we want to know. A good question was asked about any EDS players, and Divine Mustaki is going to play. He's going to be in the squad. Surprisingly, there's not many more, but still, by the looks of it, we're taking it quite seriously. So it's not about we've got. I think we're 3 games away. From the final, so from winning this game, so a trophy. So, and I think, for instance, City are taking it quite seriously, as we do normally with trophies. Last season was a bit different because we got lost to Spurs, and But again, that was more because the fact that we were in a different competition. For instance. At the same time, so we couldn't play in both. But it was the start of the bad run. So, only other questions were asked about Rodri. Rodri appears that, for instance, Rodri is getting better. Even though I saw him in training, put it in my thumbnail. But I don't think he'll be playing. But he's getting better, I believe. It looks like Omar Mamouche and Cherki, for instance, and I don't know because again, for instance, the one of the biggest problem over the last game against Palace, against Aston Villa, we were City were, for instance, not for instance, I was criticising the starting lineup again. For instance, I think it's universal. I've just seen Ethan Cheeseman and they've talked about the starting lineup, and I think, for instance, putting Reinders as the CDM really costs us the game, and it's because again, for instance, we're playing against, that is where the strength is for Aston Villa. And we messed up there, and we got control of the game better after they scored, but we got it buried back. But because of when the changes were made. But again, so Pep should have basically started off with either Nico Gonzalez or even Kovacic if we don't have Rodri. So, but I definitely Pep should own the L on that one. In the starting lineup and playing that ugly kit as well. Couldn't stand it. Anyway, so. It also seems to be a universal, from City fans, because nobody liked that universal, that lime green kit, and it just looked awful. Anyway, so moving on, it was asked about Erling Haaland. He believes that he's okay after colliding with the post, but I can't see him playing tonight, even though I wouldn't rule out Pep, but I'd be very surprised if he was in the squad. So, for instance, but I'm what else was he asked? Let me see if I can jump on the City website, etc. And because I've seen it. I saw it twice. I've seen it more than one occasion. So let's have a look. Let's just go with a few things. So, it was asked about Pep Guardiola has given us updates on Abdulbakir Kuzinov, Rodri and Haaland heavy of the League Cup against Swansea on Wednesday. The boss revealed Kuzinov, who has missed the start of 7 games, is set to play part against the Championship side. So it looks like good. That's good news. So Kuzinov will hopefully, because we want to see him back at the right back in position, especially for against Bournemouth on Sunday. He said Rodri will be back, hopefully playing soon, but not quite ready. Our influence midfield. Haaland, meanwhile, looked in discomfort. 1-0. Bob said he's been assessed today ahead of afternoon training. Although the manager hinted he would be looking forward to rotating his legs cast. Yeah, we already know. Kuzev was ready to play a few minutes, but so I expect him not to start. So he's getting better. So a game 19:45 UK time, 2:45 my time. Lovely, absolutely fantastic. Clock's going forward, and it's 3 o'clock kick, 3 a.m. kickoff. So and I don't get these. These are not a sign of old age. Well, maybe all of a sudden, etc. It's a sign of the fact that it's I've got to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning watching Man City. There you go. So obviously, Man manager Alan Sheeran A successfully playing career beginning with a youthful football in Ireland before joining Leicester City in 2003. His left back made 400 appearances for the Foxes, Notts County and Luton Town. During the time with the Hatters, he was named club captain and helped the team to numerous promotions and earned places in the PFA League 2 of the year. After retiring playing, he then moved into coaching at Oldham Athletic and played player coach before first team stint against Luton and Southampton. Sheeran joined Swansea coaching staff in 2023, initially as an assistant before stepping into a caretaker head coach in role in December December last year. Danger men for Swansea. Zan Vitpruk, who scored his third goal for Swansea within 3 minutes of played against Derby. The number 9 is a real threat and an ability to decide games after taking on Millwall in September. Vitpruk, I don't think that's the way he pronounces his name. Scored his 6th in 7 games during the 25-26 championship. In the middle of the park, Enim Jin Sung, a South Korean midfielder winger class who brings serious pace and creative flair. Also Swans a variety in their attack. During 8 appearances this season and no goals so far, Jin Sung has previously provided that he can have an immediate impact and score 16 minutes after coming off the bench in a 1-0 win against Middlesbrough in 24-25. Finally, Ronald Pereira Martins, a Brazilian forward, leads in Swansea keys dribble and passes, offering another major attacking outlet. His pace and right with men, he caused City problems and tried to create our defence. So you do have players who can score goals, for instance. So we can't be complacent, and we've got to play a good, strong squad. Previous meetings, we last played both the Swans in 21. We travelled to Wales in the FA Cup 5th round clash. The fixture was forced to place behind closed doors at the Liberty Stadium due to COVID. Pep Guardiola's men went on to score 3 and to bring us into the quarter-finals. A first half goal from Kyle Walker and a head from the break from Raheem Sterling double advance City on the 47th minute. Just 3 minutes later, Gabriel found a third. So Kyle Walker, Sterling and Gabriel Jesus third from Swansea 77th minute, but could only act as a consolidation. Marks Pep Guardiola's 200th win as manager and our 15th successive victory in all competitions, which saw us break a record top flight teams in the English football history. So last time out, Pep Guardiola's side were beaten by but we're not going to dwell too much on that, as we said. So I expect Man City to win. Man City to win a good handle, I'd say 3-0. Again, you can't write any team off City really. Regardless of that, and they'll have the fans with Sheeran's call for Swansea fans not to be silenced against Manchester City. So they're always going to show a lot more goal and say, come on, we can do it. So, but we'll see. The head-to-heads form guide. Swansea won the last five. They won 2. They won the last game against Norwich 2-1. Lost to QPR 1-0. Drew with Southampton 0-0. Lost against Leicester 3-1 at home and beat Blackburn Road 2-1. So they've won 2, drew 1-2, lost 2, and drew 1. Where Man City have won the last 5. Against Aston Villa. Lost against Aston Villa. Beat Villarreal. Beat Everton. Beat Brentford and drew against Monaco. So the last meetings between City and Swansea, FA Cup February 21, COVID 1-3. Swansea. 16th of March, City 2-3. closer one. And then Man City at home against Swansea on 22nd of April 2018. Man City beat them 5-0. Previous 21 games, Swansea have won 3, Man City have won 16, drawn 2. So they're heavy favourites. Manchester City are playing. So so it looks like you would expect City to win. Me personally, let me have a look at the go from memory about the teams. I expect Trafford to start. I expect Nunes. And we'll go. I think we'll have a strong defence, strongest defence. Maybe John Stones, Ruben Dias, and Ryan Ignori if he's fit, playing the left back, for instance, or Nico O'Reilly. I expect Rico Lewis to play in midfield, for instance, alongside. I don't think Calvin Phillips may be in the squad, but I don't think he'll play. But I expect Cherki there. Phil Foden I expect with Omar Mamouche up front. Then, for instance, we'll probably play the wingers as well. Oscar Bob maybe, and Jeremy Doku. So, for instance, I think we'll have a fairly strong squad. But also and maybe I don't think we'll play Reinders, etc. But give him a rest. But we'll see what happens for City. But I'm expecting I'm going to say a 3-1 again. For instance, let's show Swansea some respect. But I expect us to win. I say Erling Haaland, I can't see him playing or being on the bench, especially after colliding with the post. Overall, I think, for instance, I said we should be winning, should be beating Swansea and moving on to the next round. I'll be shocked if we didn't, but very disappointed if we didn't. But again, you never know. You got, So as far as the other games are concerned, again, for instance, it's. Because you got Arsenal playing tonight. So Arsenal are playing Brighton, Liverpool are playing Palace, Wolves are playing Chelsea, and Newcastle are playing Spurs. So, for instance, it's again they're going to knock out some decent teams there. So, for instance, in the next round to go through, hopefully we won't have. For instance, again, we'll have hopefully a favourable team to play, but you never know. But some good teams are going to knock out there. So, but we'll see what happens. Other than that, Francis, what do you think? Again, Francis, I just want to pop onto the last minute about the Erling Haaland debate about Man City players not scoring. I think it's one of those situations where the fact we're kind of between a rock and a hard place. When you've got Erling Haaland on the pitch, the idea is to find Erling Haaland and he will score. Many times we scored last season. We used to criticise our wingers that Erling Haaland was making the runs, etc., and not getting him. Now he's basically when he's there, the idea is to get the ball to Erling Haaland and he's got more of a chance to score. The only problem is the fact that, for instance, unless you're in a better position or you're whatever, then for instance, you're going to hit. It's either pass. Do you take the shot on yourself? So if you do it and you fail and Erling Haaland's in the possession, etc., people say, well, why didn't you pass to Erling Haaland? So, but if you're for instance, again, for instance, but there's also a thing. Oh, why didn't you? Why we're not getting more people scoring? So we're kind of in a rock and a hard place there. If you look at two games, the Arsenal game, if Erling Haaland would have passed to Phil Foden, who was in a better position, Phil Foden could have scored, and that was 2-0, and that game would have been over. And Man City would have come away from the Emirates Stadium with all 3 points in my eye. Now the fact is but again, Erling Haaland's the best goal scorer in the world at the moment. So, regards my opinion. So you got stuck there. Then you've got again a chance where against Monaco, where Josko Guardiola had the ball and he took the ball on himself, but Erling Haaland was in a better position. So, for instance, Erling Haaland was not happy, so we should have passed to Erling Haaland. But so it's a kind of a difficult thing. We want other contribution from other team players, but if Erling Haaland on the pitch, the idea is to get to Erling Haaland, he will score. So, but you've also got to factors to say, well, if the players are there, they've got to get they got to take their chances. But if they don't score, they get ridiculed. But if they do so, and if Erling Haaland's in a better position, you get. So it's a rock and a hard place. It really is. So it's all right saying give the ball to Erling Haaland, but for instance, but then again, who's going to? But you've also got to say, listen, we need more contribution, more goals from our other players. So it's a tough one. It really is. So it's not as easy as in clear cut as what people think. And so yeah, but anyway, I'm going to get going. So, but let me know what you think about that. Subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking. What's on your mind? And yeah. So, and I'll speak to you tomorrow after the game, and hopefully with a Man City win and less bags under my eyes. So take care. Sorry, cat from Thailand.